friends, welcome to this class. So we're going to paint these flowers very loosely actually. I'm going to share with you my test piece to show you what it looks like. I like the colors and everything, how kind of just is flowing together. But here's the thing, for the palette, I am going to use one different color. So Holbein has these luminous colors and I'm going to use this luminous pink actually today. And you can see it popping through here. I wanted to use this luminous color just as an undertone basically. If you don't have it, no big deal, because you can just focus on bright rose, which would be the color that you see, the darker pink. Now, if to replace this, you could simply just use maybe like ochre. Ochre would do. Oops. So you could use ochre instead. So this will be like a first layer, undertone, first color that I'm going to apply. Then I'm going to apply some bright rose. And then I'm going to use some cobalt blue. And then for the greens, I'm going to use iso yellow, some sap green, and again, a little bit of blue. Maybe quinacridone red too, actually, because to create the shadows for the stems, for the flowers, then I need to add a little bit of green to my red. So green is a complementary color to red, red is a complementary color to green. So naturally, when you create something that's red, then you want to use a complementary color for that shadow. Here, this is actually a second layer. We're going to get to that part later. First, we're just going to focus on the colors of the flowers, painted wet on wet, and then colors for the stems. I'm going to go back to the sketch. This is a rough watercolor paper deep collection by handmade. This is a journal. I used to make these journals. But first things first, if you have a wax stick, do what I do. Now, if you don't, just use masking fluid and apply it in those most highlighted areas. So first of all, what I'm going to do is remove some of these sketch lines with this kneaded eraser, because I don't want these sketch lines where I'm going to apply the wax stick, because once you apply my wax stick, the wax stick does not come off. So somewhere here, this is I'm going to rub it in, this wax. These are the most like highlighted areas I can see, and I want it there. Of course, we can just stay away from these areas when we apply water first to the paper, when we pre-wet the paper, and we can use masking fluid. That's instead of the wax stick. But if you don't have like wax stick or masking fluid, just stay away from these areas when you wet the paper. And this way you're going to have your highlights anyway. So here, and a little bit of that here, and one nice line for that wax stick. So right side is the highlight. All the highlights are on the right side. I'm going to actually add a little bit here too. Now you can kind of lift your paper and you see where you applied that wax stick, because once you have it there, like it's hard to see where you apply it because it's clear, but I think I'm okay. Maybe a little bit here. All right, I'm going to put it on the side. I'm going to dilute my colors with water and the luminous pink. So these luminous colors, they actually shine at night. So that's the cool thing about it. But they're super bright. And remember, they're staining. They do stain the paper. They will probably stain a little bit your palette here. Just FYI, they're very, very strong colors. Or I should say pigments. So this is what my palette looks like. I have bright rose, or bright violet, I'm sorry, here, because I was just painting a field of like flowers. But I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to focus on this luminous pink, bright rose, quinacridone red, imidazolone yellow, sap green, and cobalt blue, and later on I'll add some other colors as well. So now this is my flat 24 songbird. I'm going to begin wetting the paper. Now you can just wet everything, or you can kind of skip some areas if you want to, but I already used the the wax stick, not masking, wax stick. And I don't need to wet the entire sheet, like the edges. And where is my long quilt? And this is my long quilt. Dipping it in water. I'm dipping it in water. I'm going to start with this bright pink. So again, if you don't have it, it's okay. Maybe you have ochre, for example. And I'm just going to go toward these flowers here. So again, there is my luminous pink. It's a very bright color. It's actually really fun. That's why I wanted to use it as an undertone here. We have flowers in the background. I'm probably not going to pronounce these as much as the ones here. It's just fun to play with colors like that. If you like to have fun and do something different sometime, then the luminous colors are great to go with, to play with. So here I'm diluting, or I'm sorry, I'm cleaning my brush. That's what I'm doing, cleaning my brush. Now I'm going to grab this bright rose, so my regular color, and I'm gonna apply it more like toward the left side because that's the darker side anyway. I'm trying to grab more like a half and half. Everything here felt more like milk-like ratio, and this is like a half and half. So now the longer you paint, the more you decrease the amount of water in your brush, so your paint. And then the second, we're going to apply some of the greens, so the shade of green. Just want to make sure we have focus here, so I don't lose the focus on the camera here, and then maybe a little bit of pink here. And this is the shadow, right? And I can also use a little bit of help from my cobalt blue. So left side is the shadowed side, right? So with that heavy cream, you're just applying with the tip of your brush a little bit of that shade. I'm grabbing a little more of the blue, and I'm gonna go for this upper petal, or here petals, and just the left side, just like this. So we have shadows now on the left side. And yes, we're going to keep going toward our stems. So let's see, bright rose here, and then some right together with that luminous pink. I feel I just want a little more of that color, like more popping color here and there. And I'm gonna grab, I didn't actually dilute this. This is what I want. I do want this and this. This is ISO yellow, and this is imidazolone yellow, and then there is my sap green. Now the brush, it's kind of like what I have is half and half, maybe like between milk and half like ratio. So think of dairy, and this is like on the tip of my brush. And if this feels too, like paint is too diluted with water, then I'm gonna have to keep adjusting until it feels right. Like for example, like I feel like this area should have a little bit of blue. So I just picked up some blue with the tip of my brush. And that's like the left side of this stem. And I keep going over here, but I have wax stick, right? So it's not showing through as much. A little more color. I'm just picking up the green and the yellows. But what will give you a similar shade of that green that you see in the reference is actually that ISO yellow and sap green. And what I'm going to do is actually, I didn't talk about this color, but this is my hooker's green. If I can get more of it, I feel like this could be okay together like this. Just a different shade of green. I feel like I want to show it here. I'm going to grab some more of the yellow here. So something like this. I'm going to clean the brush. My eyes are just so focused on that green there in the reference, and I'm like, I just want to see, because I didn't use this green in my reference. I'm sorry, in the test piece, but I feel like that would work. Totally, it would work. So if you want something closer to what we see in the reference, go for that leafy green. So it's called actually leaf green, not leafy green. So here, there. And I'm quickly going to grab this, either red actually, this is the red I was using, so bright rose. And there's my sap green, but I also want some blue. And with the tip of your brush, before this is too dry, try to apply this. If you want it darker, see if you have any leftovers of your phthalo blue on your palette, like me sometimes, because that's one of the main blues I use. So you can quickly add it, but you can see now with that contrast how everything changes, right? And this is a combination of red, green, plus we're helping ourselves with a little bit of blue just to make it slightly darker. So cobalt blue sometimes is not enough for me. That's why I reach for blue as well, the phthalo blue as well. And then here, so shadows. If you do need to lift, you would grab like a medium stiff brush. This is my round 3. I usually lift with a rigger brush, but let's say you want to lift, you would lift right before the paper is too dry. So ideally, you want the paper to feel damp. Actually, I'm going to use my rigger brush that I can't live without. And let's say I want to add a line here. So you wipe your brush on a towel before you start lifting. You have to, otherwise you're just going to create a bloom. These technically are kind of like blooms, but you're controlling them. Hi my friends, now I'm going to show you how to add the background. So first of all, I reactivated like soft green. I have some leaf green, there's a yellow, Van Dyke brown, things that colors that I wasn't really using before, which is Van Dyke brown, some Hooker's green, indigo, cobalt blue, because I'm going to paint a darker background. And one thing I don't recommend doing is using black straight out of a tube. You always want to create your own shade of black using colors. So how am I going to paint it? So I'm going to show you in my test piece. You can see where I have hard edges. So I wet it over like the background flowers, but then I stayed away from the main flowers. And basically I wet it here, but then I had paint on my brush to go around these so I can put them in the foreground. And what makes them look like they're in the foreground is having these hard edges around. And these especially are like part of the background because they're blended with the background. And I also wetted the flowers, so not just the background. So the best thing to explain is by showing it to you how I'm doing it. I am going to use a couple different brushes. This is my flat 24. So here it goes. I'm going to wet some of the background and staying away from these flowers. Maybe I want this one in the foreground too. It all depends. Oops, I don't want to go over this one. So what I'm going to do is use a paper towel. And I'm going to wait till I have paint on my brush. And then I will define those flowers. And then here, see, I like these flowers so much that I'm like, oh, do I really want to go over them? I guess I do want parts to be part of the background blurred out. So I'm going over these as well. And I'm gonna grab my long quill size 2. So this is how I'm going to apply colors. I'm gonna grab these greens, actually even red, brown, and there's my Van Dyke brown. So this is how I'm going to define these flowers by going really close and shaping them now. So I'm actually a little farther out. So I wanna find my sketch and carefully going around it. Now you can see more now of that shape because I'm creating contrast. There you go. Now you can see this flower so much better. Now this is really fun part and I hope you will enjoy it as well. Just defining the flowers. Now here's the deal. Here we have to be careful with the ratio between water and paint. This flower and one side of it is going to be wet on wet like this side, but then there's wet on dry on this side, if that makes sense. And the same thing for this one. So I'm grabbing like a really thick paint and watch this. This is heavy cream. I'm staying away from it. So it's going to be like a soft transition, right? Just like I see in the reference. Although this is more like shouldn't be like a hard edge there. But I want to come back here in a second. I'm not going to do it yet. And grab just a green, a little bit of blue. What I should do is go really like right here. This is like a cream top. Because I want to define, I still want to show like these nice edges, hard edges actually, for this one. This is my main flower and I love it the way it is. But here, this doesn't really work well. Because part of it is wet on wet and part of it is wet on dry. So what I'm going to do is go here with a wet brush. And this way, this will blend better like this. But I still have a hard edge for this one, right? And I added like a darker shadow right here to separate the background in this flower from this. And then it's just kind of like looking like, okay, do I want maybe more here? This kind of looks brownish. And I think that's it. I mean, we have to see how it dries. Of course, colors will look a little different once everything dries, except like for the neon colors. Like we can see right away what this looks like. But that's it for this painting. Maybe like I wish not that I did. I wish I added a little more blue here maybe. But other than that, I think that's it. And I have 2 versions now. So I'm going to show you again once this is dry.